Alright. Alright, so we updated Project Dragon here. And we moved these Mixamo files from Project Dragon trunk art repo tools Mixamo to documents Maya 2018 scripts. Okay. Once the Mixamo tools are in there, we can open up Maya, and then down on the bottom right, far right corner is the script editor. Pop that open. And then in the script editor, there's a little folder with a play button on it called source script. Click that, and then you're going to change files of type to Python files, and you're going to see the Mixamo auto control rig script.py. Go ahead and open that. So again, I'll go over that again. Down in the bottom right hand corner of Maya, you'll see the script editor. Click that. Then you'll see a folder with a play button in the script editor called source script, or you can go to file, source script. Then you're going to change the files of type from mel files to Python files. Make sure you're in that scripts folder, 2018 scripts, and then open the .py file. And the Mixamo tool will pop up and look like this. And when it pops up, don't close it. Don't ever close this. We're going to be using it. Just go ahead and minimize it. If you need help, ask the person sitting next to you. I also want you guys in Project Dragon under Trunk, go ahead and launch the Dragon Master project. So just double click this Dragon Master icon. Need help?
Chris,
Yes, sir.
it's like 6 changes to the source content files I feel to take it. Would you like to import them when I wrote it?
Yeah. Don't do that.
Don't
Remember, the
import.
option is to not do that.
Okay. I ain't need to tell you.
Alright, and launch Project Dragon. So go to Storage D, Project Dragon Trunk, and launch Project Dragon. Your folders are going to be different. Your folders are going to be named differently. Some are called Project Dragon, some are called Dragon Project, some are called, Alright, so for you guys that are in Project Dragon, go ahead and go into Content. You see over here on the left, there's like these little slash marks that open up a second folder here. You're going to go into Assets, Characters, Baddies, Assets, Characters, Baddies, Animation, and just launch one of those animations. We're going to be working with the baddie today, which looks like this. Launch any animation, doesn't matter. just want you to launch the character editor here. So again, we're in assets, characters, baddies, animation. Should look like this. And we're also going to need to log into Mixamo. So go ahead and open a browser, log into Mixamo. Alright, everybody got this baddie open like this? Alright, so what we're going to be doing today is, so for this dragon project, this is a project that we're working on in the project dev class, and as you can see yesterday, this is this is one guy here. He's got a bow and arrow and a quiver, and we have several baddies in this game. We've got, you know, a guy that, if you click on third person idle and hit play, this is a guy that's in a a fighting stance, and one of the baddies, I think we have like 5 different baddie types, and one of them is like hand-to-hand combat. The other one is has a bow, an arrow like this. Another one has a staff. Another one has a sword, and then we have another one that has ninja stars. And so what we're doing for the game is, instead of creating 5 different baddies, we're creating one baddie folder like we have now, and then we're just adding in specific animations and calling them, you know, like baddie bow and arrow idle, baddie bow and arrow shot, etc. And then we're just going to call those animations on a specific baddie when we load that specific baddie. That makes sense. So today, I did the bow and arrow yesterday. Go ahead and click on skeleton in the upper left. Today we're going to add the baddie with a staff. Okay, we're going to give him a staff. And when you click on skeleton on the left, upper left, you'll notice in the list of bones on the left, and you'll see there's some sockets on the left hand side that kind of look different than the bones. There's 3 of them. One of them is called bow socket, one of them is called quiver socket, and one of them is called hips socket. So I actually have this sash is attached to his hip socket, and this sash is actually dynamic. Excuse me, guys. And then we have the quiver socket, which is attached to his back, and then we have the bow socket, which is actually attached to his hand. Okay. And what I'm going to teach you guys today how to do is basically set up So get a weapon in, get a weapon exported, get it attached to the character in the game, but then also let's go ahead and open up Maya. You can minimize the Mixamo tool, and I want you to go to File, Open, and go to Project Dragon Trunk, Art Repo, Characters, Player Characters, Baddies, and you're going to open up Animation. You're going to open up Bow Baddie Animation Ready. So again, Project Dragon, Trunk, Art Repo, Characters, Player Characters, Baddie, Animation, Bow Baddie Animation Ready. And it's going to ask some of you guys, since the pathing is not right, it's going to ask you for a path. It's looking for a file called Baddie Rig. So go ahead and just check both of the check marks on the left. If your Baddie just opens up right up, that's fine. If not, check both the check marks and go to Browse. And then go to back to that folder. So my computer D. This time you're going into the rigs folder, and you're gonna select the keep on. I don't know what it's called. The rig Baddie folder. Yeah. And the bow and some other stuff is in there too, so it might access to that. We'll go. It might not actually. Once it finds it. Huh? Help him. You got it, Corey? Yeah, go into that rigs folder and open up Baddie.
So go over it down to usually
Go to Baddie. Open up Baddie.
characters.
Yeah. Alright, so the reason why that didn't open up for some and opened up for others is because the pathing was different. Again, some of the projects are called Project Dragon, some of them are called Dragon Project, some are called some other stuff. So, so as you can see in Maya, we have the weapons set up exactly the same as the setup in Unreal. And this was actually fairly complex for me to set up. I set this up yesterday. And so we've got the quiver actually attached to him. So when you rotate him in Maya, the quiver and the bow and everything move. And our animator on the project is actually going to start animating this. If you click 4 on your keyboard and zoom into the end of the arrow, you'll see a joint there. What?
Mine doesn't have an arrow for some reason.
Open your project again. Or open up the baddies folder again. Somebody help him get that open.
Wait a second. If you actually, okay, go back. Let's go back. You went to rig. I thought you were already got to the part where you got the actual mod. Part where you go. Oh, so you have to go to animation. Choose Baddie. Go to Baddie. Oh, and the second last one. That's fine. Under. And now with both of those in browse. And now we have to go all the way to where I originally told you. There we go. We're good.
All right. All right, cool. So one of the things I want you guys to see, go up to File, Reference Editor. File Reference Editor. And basically what we've done here is you'll see in the list of references here, we've referenced in, first of all, the baddie rig. Okay, and we've referenced that in because if we need to make any changes to this animation, this is an animation file that the animators use to start their animations. If we need to make any changes to this file, we just change it, or any changes to the rig, we change the rig file and it's referenced into here. Same goes with the baddie bow and the quiver, which are also referenced into here as well. So for example, if you uncheck the box that says quiver, you'll see that it unloads the quiver and you can unload the bow as well. So when we go to actually export animations from this, we'll unload these weapons because we don't need to export the bones on the weapons. But we keep them in the scene referenced so that our animators can actually animate with these weapons, right? And as you see, if you click 4 on your desktop and zoom into the bow and arrow, it's got a bone at the end of the arrow, and you can grab that bow or bone and you can move the arrow back and the drawstring. So when the animator wants to animate this, they'll move that back. So if you move the bow back, while you have that bone selected, if you tap down arrow on your keyboard, it'll select a bone further down, and then you can actually move the arrow itself. So the animator will be able to do the drawstring and then pull back, and then shoot the actual arrow itself from this. And if you look up at the projector, you can see how I have it. Again, you just, in order to pull the drawstring, you grab the bone at the end of the arrow, and then to move the arrow, while that bone is selected, just tap down arrow on your keyboard, and it'll select the arrow, that you can move around. And the way this works in the game is actually I've done bow and arrows and stuff before, but I'd kind of forgotten, and you know, every time you set up a weapon or something, it's always different. And the way this is going to work is the arrow itself will not be animated in game shooting. It's going to be animated to the point to where the character will pull the drawstring back and then let go, and the arrow will probably move all like to the end of the bow, and then we'll have it like disappear, and then right in its place in the game we'll have the projectile arrow appear, which is programmatically controlled, and then it'll take it the rest of the way, if that makes sense. So we'll put this arrow here on a actually what we're gonna do, the way I figured it out is so you guys look up here real quick. So he'll pull the arrow back, shoot it to about here, and then in one frame it will pop back to the quiver. It'll be so fast that the players won't even see it. And then projectile arrow will spawn in its place, and then projectile arrow will shoot. Do you guys understand what I mean when I say projectile arrow?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's pretty much it, man. So that's going to allow our animators to make a really cool like drawing animation and firing animation, and then code will take over the rest. But anyway, this is the basic setup for this, for like a weapon here. I'm gonna like, I want to put some more arrows in the quiver, so we can go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how to, like, if we needed to do a rig update here. So go ahead and go to Open Scene, and I want you to go into the Rigs folder and open up the bow. All right. Got the bow open here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, since that quiver is empty, it needs to look like there's some arrows in it. So what I want to do is I want to take this arrow and I want to pull it into the quiver file and add a couple arrows to the quiver. All right. So first things first, we need to go ahead and delete everything in the scene but the arrow. Okay. So before we do that, we have to blow away the skin weighting on here. So go up to Edit, Delete All by Type History, and what that's going to do is delete all the history of everything in the scene. So if there's any nodes, like skinning nodes attached to these objects, they'll just be deleted. So go to Edit, Delete All by Type History, and then you can select the bones, you can delete those, you can select the bone arrow and the drawstring. So basically everything but the arrow you can delete. And since this bow, or since this arrow is going to be down in the quiver, in order to maximize our game speed here, we don't need all of this arrow here. So what I want you to do is right click on the arrow and go to face. And I want you to delete about half the faces on this arrow. So if you look up at the projector, you can see the faces that I have selected here. Just select those and then tap DEL on your keyboard. Type DEL on your keyboard. So you should have about half an arrow here. Alright. So now we need to save this scene. So let's go to File, Save Scene As. And just save this scene as... Actually, we're going to export this. So click on this arrow. Now let's save it. It doesn't matter. Just go to File, Save As. File, Save Scene As. Sorry, guys. And you can just throw it on the desktop and just call it bow. I'm sorry, call it arrow. And then click Save. Just save it to the desktop called arrow. And then when you're done, open up the quiver scene, which is going to be under Art Repo, Characters, Baddies, Rig. Quiver. So once you have the quiver open here, let's go ahead and import that arrow file into here. So File, Import, click on Arrow, and then just go ahead and import that arrow.
The references.
Huh? So the file that you just saved onto the desktop,
Yes.
the broken arrow, shouldn't have any.
It's looking for the same baddie reference, so just look. So just leave the
Yeah,
second
yeah,
one.
we don't need to pull in the baddie.
Need the skeleton?
Yeah, cancel that. Yeah, you just want the arrow, not the baddie.
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah. All right, so then go ahead and take this arrow and position it, rotate it and position it. Rotate it negative 90 degrees in Y, and then go ahead and position it inside the quiver, so it's kind of sticking out a little bit. And you can go ahead and duplicate that arrow a few more times. Like, we'll just put 3 of them in there. Nothing crazy. And you can kind of like rotate them a little bit to make it look a little bit more natural.
Yeah, there's not a lot of feedback here. Sir?
Yes.
I keep trying to import it into the file. I've done this like 2 or 3 times, and it doesn't let me move the arrow for some reason. For some reason, it still has a keyframe. But I just want to check to see if the arrow has anything on it still over here, and there's nothing here. This is stuff. I did delete packet history stuff.
This is on your desktop, right?
Yes.
I don't know why you can't lose it.
Get your arrows in there, Corey.
I can't move it.
Okay, now it's good. Like what? I did delete the history.
Don't argue.
I did the exact stuff. I know I did. There we go. You might need to right click on all your channels and go to unlock.
That's how you fix that. That happens, I just click
Where are you
restart.
going?
Nothing with that.
Okay, so if your stuff doesn't move, just right click, just like click drag on your channels and go to unlock.
There you go.
Do that in that file.
Right.
So only if your stuff doesn't move. It happens to be like you.
Put a couple of arrows in there.
Alright, everybody got some arrows in the quiver?
Yep.
Alright, cool. So now we need to go ahead and add these arrows into the skin. So first and foremost, go ahead and select all your arrows. And then we're going to delete history and freeze transformations like we always do. So select your arrows, edit, delete by type, not all by type. Delete by type history. Modify freeze transformations. When we delete history, you have delete by type and delete all by type. Delete all by type will do everything in the scene. Delete by type will be just what you have selected. So we just want to do what we have selected right now because we're going to keep the skinning on the actual quiver. And you can test that by dragging a box over the bone in the center of the quiver. And as long as the quiver still moves around and turns pink, we're good to go. Alright? Alright, so let's go ahead and add the arrows into the skin of the quiver.
You said modify and freeze transformations, right? Or just do the
Yeah, edit, delete by type history, modify freeze transformations on just the arrows. Alright, so select the arrows, shift select the bone, change your drop down in the top left to rigging, and then go to skin, option box for bind skin. To be honest with you, you can just go to skin, bind skin. Skin, bind skin. And then when you move the bone in the center, the arrows should move with it now. So you're going to select all the arrows, shift select the bone, and then go to skin, bind skin. And then for you guys that know how to paint skin weights, I want you to go ahead and flood all of the arrows to that root bone. So you can open up the paint skin weights tool and flood all of the arrows to that root bone. And when you're doing paint skin weight stuff, it's always good to click 5 on your keyboard to work in flat shaded mode so you can see when something is white or black. So click an arrow, double click the paint skin weights tool, and then you're going to scroll down to where it says flood and click flood. And to be honest with you, since there's only one bone, I think it's going to auto flood all these anyways. Pretty sure. It's only one bone for it to skin to. But just to be safe, we'll go ahead and flood them anyways. So when you move that center bone, it should move the arrows and the quiver. And to be honest with you, I think since there's only one bone, we don't have to do any flooding. Yeah. We actually don't need to flood these, you guys.
So we just select 3 arrows and then we
Yeah, you can do all 3 at the same time. Have you skinned those yet? Have you added those to the skin yet?
Not yet, just been trying to.
Oh, okay, yeah. Select all 3, and then shift select the bone. Then go to skin, bind skin. Perfect.
Yeah, they're all put on the paint.
You got it. It's been a long time.
Yeah, and to be honest, we didn't need to flood these. Since there's only one bone, when you skin it, Maya's going to look for all the bones, and it normally spreads the weighting evenly over all the bones. But since there's only one bone, it's just going to do 100% weighting. Yeah.
Can't always be accurate. Be right back.
You guys got it up there?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, what we're going to do is we are going to now save this scene. So go to File, Save. And it should save over the quiver scene in Project Dragon. And then we're going to export this and then re-import it into Unreal. Okay? So go ahead and just go to File, Export All. And we're going to export this onto the desktop as an FBX. And I'm going to put the settings for the FBX. We have to have very specific settings. Alright, so File, Export All, change it to an FBX. And then I'll go over these settings. Under Geometry, you want to turn on Smoothing Groups. Under Bake Animation, under Deformed Models, turn off Blend Shapes. Turn off Cameras, Lights, Audio, and Embed Media. Go over those settings again. So File, Export All. Change files of type to FBX Export. Then in the options under Geometry, turn on Smoothing Groups. Turn on Smoothing Groups. Under Deformed Models, turn off Blend Shapes because there's no morph targets in here. Then turn off Cameras, Lights, Audio, and Embed Media. And then go ahead and export it onto your desktop.
Off blend shapes.
What?
Deform models, blend shapes.
Yeah, turn off Blend Shapes.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we name it?
Go ahead and just name it Quiver. Hey, what's your name sitting in front of me?
Me?
No, him.
Not me.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Daniel. Got it. I always forget your name for some reason. Daniel in the Lion's Den. That's what's going to help me remember. I got to associate.
Josh tried to give me the name Daniel's son once.
Daniel's son?
He tried to give me that nickname once.
That's a good one.
So if you want an easy way to remember, just use that, I guess.
Hey, can you do the deform model again? The blend shapes are for
Yeah, so under Geometry, turn on Smoothing Groups. Under Deform Models, turn off Blend Shapes. Then turn off Cameras, Lights, Audio, and Embed Media.
export it to a desktop?
Yeah, export to the desktop, call it Quiver.
Can I just hit export all?
Yeah, export all, that's right. Quiver. Alright, then open up Unreal, and you can close out of Mr. Batty here, and then under Batty's, under Assets, Weapons, or Assets, Characters, Weapons, you'll see the bow folder, and there's a quiver object. Right click on the quiver object, re-import, and mine went ahead and found the arrows right away, but y'all's, you may have to locate that file on the desktop.
Found mine, so not textures.
Right, we'll fix the textures here in a second. You guys good up there, Jason? All right. So yeah, the textures are a problem here, which is not a problem. You'll see over on the left-hand side under material slots, there's a little drop-down where it says none. You can just change that to quiver mat. The one that's empty, change the little drop-down to quiver mat, and the arrows should pop right in. Then go ahead and save it. Then you can open up Mr. Batty again. And we should see our new arrow quiver on him with our arrows. So now it looks like he's actually got some arrows to shoot, which is cool. This is really great. I needed to do this. What? Yeah, I mean this Unreal is really, really powerful and super easy, and it's just a matter of lining things up here. So that's how you would like update a rig.
Why is the bow going to his face?
Because this animation isn't. We can actually fix that. I need to fix that actually. You good up there, Corey?
Huh?
You good up there, Corey?
Oh yeah, I got 5 arrows.
Huh?
I said yes sir, I got 5
How many arrows you got?
I'm good.
Daniel. He was not here. I need you to help him export that and re-import it, okay?
Alright, let me see. Okay, so first we need to export this on desktop.
Yes sir.
How many arrows you got in there, Corey?
5.
5?
Exporting
You was only supposed to add 3.
name and attributes. Export.
You didn't say how many, you said put arrows.
That's true.
We've already did. Now,
No, I got 4.
Oh,
Actually.
here.
I counted one in my other bow.
That's not what that's just this one posted. Geometry.
Four in the quiver.
So were you gonna move his hand over to get the bow off his face, or what?
So what we're going to do, I just thought about this. We're going to change up this guy's animation. So once we change the animation, it should work fine.
Okay, he's caught up.
All right. All right, you guys. So what we're going to do now, as you can see, if you double-click the third-person idle animation, he is using an animation that is not the right animation. He's using like a
basic combat stance.
yeah, and that's not a bow.
I'm pretty sure it's just a mix of combat stance.
It is. I'm trying to think. Okay, cool. So go back to Maya and go ahead and open up in the animations folder. Go ahead and open up bowbaddieidle.ma. Bowbaddieidle.ma. Should be under Baddies animation. Bow Baddie Idle. You might have to reference in the baddie and the bow and the quiver.
Reference file not found.
Just try and open the scene again. Go to File, Open, Bow Baddie Idle, and then it should ask you to reference in the bow. So just try and open the scene again. Corey. Oh, it looks like you guys might have saved. I know what you guys did. Go open up a file folder and go into Player Characters Baddies Rig. Right click on the bow scene and then Tortoise SVN Revert. And once that reverts, try and open the scene again, and then you guys just saved the broken arrow scene over the bow.
What happened? We actually saved. Oh, well, you got it right. We actually saved like when we copied the arrow. We actually saved over that. So you can reverse that.
I think we're good.
You guys are good.
So you saved over the arrow file.
Yeah, when we created the one with the arrow.
Oh, okay, I see.
You have to fight with a single arrow on the ground.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Yeah, I was trying to see if like it was gonna. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, that's because he's like. I think I know what it is.
It was already on.
There's a option here.
So I can't distinguish between
All right, are we good to go here? All right, so what we're going to do is, so this animation's pretty much good to go. We need to change a couple animation settings here. As you can see, when you slide the animations time slider, his feet kind of move. So open up your animation settings. They're right above the script editor on the lower right-hand side. It's like a little guy with a little settings. Click those. And first and foremost, we always want to change the frame rate to 30. I'm sorry, yeah, 30 frames per second. and it's going to change the timeline to like 152.5. Just change that to 152 down at the bottom. And then where it says playback speed, change that to, just make sure that's on other 30 frames per second. So 3 things we changed here. First thing, frame rate up at the top, change that to 30. Playback speed, change it to other, and then 30 as well. And then down at the bottom, the timeline, it should say 152. Change the numbers in the timeline box to 152. So there's only 152 frames. Then also in the settings, click on animation. And then up where it says evaluation mode, change that to DG. Change evaluation mode to DG. And for whatever reason, when you change that to DG and hit save, the feet no longer slide. It's like a different way of evaluating the animation. I don't know how it works, or why it works, or what it even means. Yeah. Alright, so first and foremost, we need to go ahead and export this animation into Unreal. So open up your Mixamo tools and go to export. And we want to check a box here called remove end joints. Down in the corner, open up the script editor below the animation settings. Then go to File, Source Script, change it to Python files, and then you're going to load up the Maya control rig.py under Maya 2018 scripts. When you're, alright, so click on the Export tab, click on Remove End Joints, and click Export Baked Skeleton. Export Baked Skeleton. Now we are going to export this in FBX, so change this to files of type FBX.
FBX export.
Yes. And we're going to, it retained our settings from last time. The only thing we're going to turn on this time is bake animation. So turn on bake animation. It's under bake animation. So go ahead and export this to the desktop, and let's call it Bow Idle. Bow Idle. Then click export. Jason, can you help him when he...
Yeah, I got him to that point. I didn't read the last part.
Okay. Which is all we did was export the animation.
Are we
That's it.
naming anything in particular?
Bow Idle.
Where did you say this is?
Desktop, fine. Yeah, FBX, and make sure you turn on bake animation. And for you other guys that are waiting, I want you to go ahead and select the arrow bone. Okay, the arrow bone that moves just the arrow. And on frame 0, I want you to put this arrow bone inside the quiver. Okay? So take that arrow, and on frame 0, go ahead and stick it inside the quiver. And again, to get access that arrow bone, you select the bone on the arrow and then tap down once on your down arrow key.
It's under extra options. Take arrow from the bow and just pull it back.
Say again.
Take arrow from the bow and just pull it back.
So you're gonna grab the bone that just moves the arrow itself, not the bow. So click on the bone that's on the back of the arrow, then tap down on your keyboard one time and it will select the bone further down in the chain that just moves the arrow. And you're gonna move that arrow to the quiver.
Okay, so go to the arrow.
Help each other, you guys.
Yeah, this bow over here. Go to the arrow. Might want to go wire for this. Now let's find the bone and move down until it highlights the bow. No.
Did you import the arrow in?
Say again.
We lost her. Did you import the arrow or what?
You've lost your arrows?
No, down.
I think you imported it.
There you go. There.
I don't know where you're at. Did you export the animation?
Yeah, up to the point where we brought back up the Maya auto control rig, everything was cool. Then we did this, and then we don't have arrows.
Did what?
Export the desktop.
Then they exported the desktop, and now the arrows are not.
And the arrows disappeared?
No, I don't.
I don't think. Did you import them?
They should have auto imported. I don't think you've ever saved it first. Updated. Go to file. Reference editor. So this scene was the one we updated where we had arrows. When you open the scene back up, were there arrows in there?
Yeah.
There were arrows in there? There were. Like the arrows. Go to file. Go to recent files. And open up the no.
Okay, so select from
So when you say update this, you save.
No, I mean like
You export it out of
this arrow is by nature bigger than some arrows.
and try to look for that quiver scene.
Okay. Arrows.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So there's what's in Maya and there's what's in Unreal. And what matters is what's in Unreal. I think you also reverted, I think you did save it actually. It's just that when you reverted that bow scene, you also reverted the quiver scene.
Yeah. Does it do that with the bow? Just the bow?
Can you, Jason, can you try and explain to him what happened?
As long as it can show up in Unreal, then it's not a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so in that case, then we're good. Move it back.
So make sure that the bow is negative. The bow.
Press it down. Until it highlights the arrow. There you go. I just put
Dang, Corey.
What happened? You got
Just-
more arrows in the end?
I'm just messing with you, man.
Yeah, now he's got more. We're gonna do right.
We're not at that step yet, are we?
No.
Okay.
All right. So did you guys move the? Trying to think how we're gonna do this.
You realize the problem too, right?
Yeah.
The arrow's too big.
Huh.
I mean, it work.
All right. Trying to think how we're gonna do this. Okay. All right. So we got our guy exported. So let's go ahead. Open up Unreal. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna find the baddies folder, and then where it says third person, or you're gonna find the baddies folder. We're gonna import that animation. So in the baddies folder, just click the import button, and then go.
Save now that we put the arrow in the quiver?
No, don't save yet.
Okay.
So in Unreal, in the baddies folder, click on import, then click bow idle and open. Where it says skeleton, select baddie to Unreal skeleton, and then go ahead and click import.
Wait, where are we importing it to?
Which doesn't work, of course. Oh, I know why that doesn't work. So actually go back into Maya, I'm sorry, make a new scene, and import the bow idle into Maya.
Do we override this one?
No. Just make a new scene, don't save.
Don't save?
No, there's no need to save.
Okay, just get rid of it?
Yeah. And then import the bow idle into Maya. So it looks like this.
Okay, wait, do it again. The import to Maya. We export it to Maya instead, or
Import it. You're just importing the skeleton.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll share that. I just see. Oh, I named it.
Look at the projector, y'all. That's what you need to do. Help each other.
You made 3 kids.
All right, so first thing we need to do is select any of the bones, and you can see in the channel box here, it says Mixamo Rig : whatever the bone name is. We need to remove that prefix. No, I found an easier way to do it, actually. Actually, one of my students did. I can't take credit for that. Go up to Modify, Prefix Hierarchy Names. Modify prefix hierarchy names, and then it's going to say enter prefix. Just leave it as is and click OK, and then that should do it, but it doesn't. Huh?
Do we delete the mesh? It says just hit the bone.
I'm sorry. Select the hip bone first, and then go to modify prefix hierarchy names. And then keep what's in there. It should say prefix underscore, and then click OK. And that should remove all of the prefix names for all of the bones. Your scene should look exactly like mine. If your scene doesn't look exactly like mine, you're doing something wrong, ask your neighbor. If you have a character in there, that's not good.
Did you delete the body around?
Oh, yeah, delete the body. You just need the bones. Yeah, you just need bones. If you had a body in there, that means that when you exported the animation, you had deformed models turned on. And it exported the skin.
So now I gotta re-import it or export it?
I haven't gotten there yet.
So just keep doing that until all the next one stuff's done?
No. You just need to select the hip, and then it will do all the other joints connected to the hip. Huh? You just select it and delete it. Go to edit, delete. Select the skin, and then go edit, delete by type history. Then you can delete it. Are you guys, which scene do you have open right now?
They still
This should be, you just go to File, New Scene, and then import Bow Baddie Idle FBX on your desktop. Maybe you guys had the wrong scene open. Make sure, yeah, that's what we did. Okay, so I'll go over it again here. Go to File, New Scene, then go to File, Import Bow Idle on your desktop. It should be just bones. If it's not bones, go to Edit, delete all by type history, and then delete the skin. Delete the everything but the bones. We just want bones. Y'all good to go up there?
Yeah, we have to fix the hip part.
Yeah, so select the hip and then go to Modify Prefix Hierarchy Names and click OK.
Okay, man.
All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a root. So zoom into the center of the grid, click the Create Joints button, hold X while you do it, at the center of the grid, and then call that joint root. So zoom into the center of the grid, click Rigging tab, then click the Create Joint button. While you create the joint in the center of the grid, hold X, which will snap the joint to the grid. Then when you're done creating it, click the change the name of that joint to root, and then you want to parent the hip to that root by selecting the hip, then shift selecting the root and tapping P. So the character should, so if you move the root, the entire character should move. Jesus. All right. So now we've got our naming renamed here. We've got our guy parented to the root here. So let's go ahead and export this animation. File, export all. And we're going to go ahead and export this over bow idle on the desktop. Just go ahead and export it. Make sure bake animation's checked and export it. Then in Unreal, click import, then import it. Make sure you turn
Do we save it?
huh?
Do we save it? What? This.
Don't save it. You want to export it.
So you export it?
Yeah, export it as an FBX over bow idle on your desktop.
Yeah.
Make sure bake animation's checked. And then go to Unreal and go to import. And then make sure under where it says skeleton, change it to Batty 2 Unreal Skeleton. Make sure you're importing this into the Batty folder. And then you should be able to just click import.
Undo import all. Import.
Yeah, just import. And then if you double click it, bow idle will play. I see you have a problem over there. Daniel, did you have success?
I have an issue where apparently it has everything says prefix on it now.
Okay, right. So you guys have the same issue. So you guys both open up Maya.
Yeah.
Select the hip joint. Go up to Modify Prefix Hierarchy Names. And then click OK. Ah, shit. Wait. Everything says prefix on it now?
Yes. Now it says prefix.
Yeah. Let me see if I can help you fix that. It's because we did it twice.
just like go through the joints and fix it that way?
That would take forever.
Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, to me, the only ones that are not doing this with the hand joints.
When I import low value idle, does this record?
The only one that's giving me this problem is like one of my arms, so I think I can fix it like that.
Guys, to solve this problem, it's very easy. Actually, it's not very easy because you guys saved over that bow idle. Give me a second. I'll help you fix this. Okay, modify. Okay, so for you guys that have prefix, and all that crap, go to, instead of modify prefix hierarchy names, under it is an option called search and replace names. And look up on my screen here. These are the options to put in. Whatever, if you have prefix, put in prefix underscore. Or if you just have prefix, put in prefix underscore. And you're going to put in /n, which means replace with nothing. Make sure you have the root selected, not the hip. And then click apply. And then /n. That means nothing. Then click apply, then select a bone and see if you fixed it. There should be no prefixes. It should just be root, hips, etc., etc., etc. And if that works for you, go to File, Export All, export it, then re-import it into Unreal. Right-click on the asset, re-import. Has anybody successfully got their animation imported into Unreal? To re-import it, if you messed up the first time, just find the asset. It should be called bow idle. Right-click, re-import. If it's not there, in that directory, click import, then select bow idle, and make sure you have the skeleton drop-down changed to bow baddie or baddie bow or it's just called baddie something or other. And then click import, not import all. Did you add the root bone? Go back to Maya. Yeah, keep Maya open. Keep Mixamo tools open. We're going to be doing a lot with that today. So no need to close files. Make sure your root bone is called root. R-O-O-T, lowercase r.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Make sure your root bone is parented. If you have the root bone selected and you do your renaming in Maya, it will rename all of the bones attached to it. So you don't need to go through them one by one. Corey, Jason, you guys good up there? So when you in Unreal, you guys got this dude chilling, idling with a bow, looking flashy. So you guys, while you're messing around in Unreal, you can go down to Maps, Test Map, and open up, what's it called? Actually, go into Tutorial and open up Tutorial while we're waiting on everybody else. Just make sure you always save selected. If it asks you to save in Unreal, just go ahead and save. Better to have and not need than to need and not have. Select your hip, go to File, Export All, and export that over bow idle on your desktop. Make sure Bake Animations is selected. Scroll down. Bake Animations on. Yes, it is. All right, export it. Yep. Go to Unreal. Do you have bow idle in there?
Nope.
Oh, change that to Batty and click Import. Yeah, that should be it. If yours worked, great. Mine worked for whatever reason. No, you're good. Yeah, Daniel, help him fix his bone names and.
That's what happened. Yeah. Hold on.
Guys, the problem is in Maya. Check the bone.
I know. I just want to see this real fast. Go to my address. Look at the names. Are the names like let me check my files because I think I know what the problem is. Yeah, here's go to like bind it up. Try going to modify. Okay, click on. Is there like one common one? They all have.
The most common I see is either bind, IK, or FK.
Go to the root of. Go to one of the. Okay, find the one that. Find which ones have that particular like IKFK and keep going up until it stops appearing, and then go to the one that has the last one have that mark on it. No, go back to this last one. It has does that have a K on it? Or that has IK? And I'm gonna modify. Go to search and replace names. Now find IK and replace with -n /n.
I got this. I'm gonna because it's 3 days.
Yeah, that should fix it. Just don't do it quite as slow as it might be. And I'll replace it with actual. Just check to see if that count. Should fix it. Now you
All right.
I'm so sorry.
You're good. Okay. All right, we're going to attempt something. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try it anyway. All right, so we got this guy idling. He's looking good, all right? So while he idles, the arrow is in the bow, right? So what we're going to do is we need to create an animation for the bow where the arrow is in the quiver. So while he's idling, it's in the quiver, so that when he so when he actually goes to grab, he's going to have an animation where he goes to grab that arrow out of the quiver and then put it in the bow and shoot it, right? But while he's idling, that arrow doesn't need to be like that. So let's go ahead and go into Maya and open up bow baddie idle. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this arrow on frame 0 and we're going to put it in the quiver, okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to constrain it to the bone in the quiver. So go to Windows General Editors Hypergraph Hierarchy. Windows General Editors Hypergraph Hierarchy. Okay. And let's see. So there's a bow root, bow draw, and bow arrow. Okay, those are bones. What we're going to do is select quiver root, then shift select bow arrow, then go to constrain parent and make sure maintain offset is off, and then click apply. So select quiver root, then shift select bow arrow, then open up parent constrain options, uncheck maintain offset, and then hit apply. and that arrow should pop to the quiver. It's going to be off, but it'll pop over there. Yeah, so select quiver root, shift select bow arrow, then under parent constrain options, so go to constrain parent, make sure your rigging tab is in the drop down in the upper left, then click apply. Okay. And you'll see when you do that, the arrow is going to like pop into the quiver, but it's going to be off to the side like this. And if you scroll the animation, it'll be attached, but it'll be just off to the side. So what we need to do is adjust that arrow so that it's placed in the quiver. The problem is we can't, if you look in the group over here, you'll see there's an arrow parent constraint. You can grab that arrow parent constraint and move and rotate that, or not. I thought we were going to be able to do this. It's not letting us, however. Let me try something real quick. Undo that until the arrow goes back to where it was supposed to go. I'm going to have to try something. Again, I haven't done this yet. Oh, I'm totally retarded. Okay, so go back to, this is very simple. So go back to when the arrow wasn't attached, so undo, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, okay, to where the arrow goes back to where it was supposed to go. All we need to do here is position the arrow in the quiver, and so I want you guys to basically just position it in the quiver. And the coordinates I want you to use, we all need to be using the same coordinates here. So this is the problem. You know what? We need to do this in a different. All right, we need to do this a different way. Go to File, Open Scene, and I want you to open the bow file that's in Project. No, open the quiver file. We need to set this up. So go to Project Dragon, Trunk, Art Repo, Characters, Player Characters, Baddies, Rig, and open the quiver file. Okay? I'm going to show you how to hook this up real simple. Say what? So when you open it up, it should look like this. It doesn't matter. Your quiver, if you're missing arrows, that's fine. Don't matter. All right. Good to go? Got the quiver file open? All right, so I want you to reference in the bow now. So go to Create Reference. I hope this works. Go to create reference bow. No idea if this is gonna work, but we gonna try. All right, so what I want to do is open up your hypergraph hierarchy, Windows General Editor's hypergraph hierarchy. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a node in this quiver rig that when we constrain the arrow to, it's always going to pop in the same place in the quiver. So that at every animation that we do, we just need to like flip a switch, and that arrow is going to go, oh, all right, and pop to the quiver in the same place every single time, okay? Because if we have it popping in different places every single time, that's going to be a problem. So, all right, so go to the rigging tab and create a locator. Okay, and that's going to create that at the 0, 0, 0. And you can grab that locator and you can scale it up. Okay. And go ahead and group that locator. So Control G, and then what's up, Greg?
Hey, what's going on?
And then what I want you guys to do, yeah, group the locator.
What?
Just select it and hit Control G.
Did you want us to move the bow and stuff out of the way too?
Yeah, you can grab the bow and then move the bow out of the way. It's fine.
Oh, you working on the project?
Yeah.
Good, good. I'm
Don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm kind of figuring it out as I go.
You know what you're doing.
All right. So now what I want you to do is select the root bone from the quiver, shift select the group, and then go to constrain parent. And then just make sure maintain offset is on and hit apply. Yeah, turn it on and then hit apply. I don't think it really matters, but we're just going to keep it anyway. So what we've done here is when you move the quiver around now, it's going to move that group, which moves the locator. Okay? Now what's cool about this is we can actually move that locator independently and set a key on that for wherever we want. So now we're going to constrain the arrow.
Can I pause you real quick?
What's up, Corey?
I'm still at the locator part.
Okay, okay. Got a locator, right?
Yeah.
Did you group it?
No, but we can do that.
Select the locator and
No,
select.
no, I don't have a locator yet. Okay.
All right, create a locator. See where my mouse is?
Yeah.
Create that.
All right.
Scale it up, and then once you create it, scale it up to where you can grab it. It's in the center of the grid.
You own it, man. What's going on? Good?
I'm good. Got some good sleep last
See,
night.
your attorney will just do it all. Just let them do it all.
Yeah, the problem is that in order for them to establish the retainer, I think I should just, the problem is their retainer is flexible based off of, I'm recording by the way, but is flexible based off of the task.
Absolutely.
So in order for them to establish the task, I have to do a consultation In order for me to
Absolutely.
do a consultation, it's going to cost me money.
Yeah.
So I have to do a consultation, which is going to cost me money.
But
What?
you can set it to payments on the way you want to set it up. You know that, right?
What does that mean?
You can establish your payments. You can say, hey, look, I like to pay X amount every 2 weeks, and you can do that. You know that, right?
Yes.
You don't have to pay them all. Just say, hey, look, I like to establish every 2 weeks. I like to pay $150. Can we do that? And they'll say, heck yeah. You follow me?
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing. You're not paying it all. You're just paying them,
So I can say, okay, retainer is 2,000. I'll pay like 150.
and that's what they'll do. And yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you don't have to pay all that at once. No. Yeah, it's a contract. Yeah.
Are you guys good?
No, okay, so what?
All right, look. So create a locator,
I got that.
then group it. Control G.
Okay.
All right. Then you're going to select the root, then shift select the group, then go to constrain parent. That way, when you move the root, it's going to move the group, which will move the locator. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
And what we're going to do is we're going to attach the arrow to the locator and then rotate the locator in place and set a key on that. Anyway, we're going to do that next. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to select the arrow, I'm sorry, shift select the locator, select the locator, then shift select the arrow bone. Okay, select the locator, then shift select the arrow bone, then go to constrain parent and turn off maintain offset. And the arrow will snap to the locator. Did I do that right? Yes. Pretty sure. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Cool.
You can create your own payments.
Yeah, that's what
you
I'm
can say
gonna
200 every 2 weeks. You know, that's my pay period, and that's it.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
You guys got it?
It's being smart.
Hold on.
Help each other.
Yeah, that's just being smart. They just give you a contract that you agree to do it.
I also want to put in that contract that if I'm not happy with services, I can cancel at any time.
You can do that anyway. You can terminate your
Oh, really? At any
yes,
time?
Anytime. Yeah.
Because if I'm not feeling the attorney, then
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm out.
Well, when you now they have to give you a paper that they're not representing you anymore as well. You know that. Whenever you fire.
When service is done, yeah.
Yeah,
And I have
you-
to sign it, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
What I don't want to do.
Just read the termination clause.
Yeah. What I don't want to do is I just don't want to
Be messing around.
I don't want to pay a big retainer and then just have them just start billing me and
Right.
and messing around with the other attorney, and they're just going back and forth and just racking up my hours. Like, I don't want that shit.
That's part of the game.
Yeah,
though.
I get it, but
It is.
I get it, but how do you avoid that?
Can't.
I know it's like
That's
that's what's so funny is that literally
It's just like me coming here saying, "Hey, Chris, I want a game next week."
right. But
Hey,
let me put it this
hey,
way.
look,
Look, if I hire a contractor to do the tile in my home,
I'm
okay,
listening.
and I say okay, I'm not going to pay you until services are complete.
Correct.
So what happens is-
no,
so what happens is-
that's not true.
What?
You don't pay a contractor when you're through. You pay him a lump sum.
Well,
up
you,
front.
what I do is I pay him a little bit up front,
Yes, sir.
and then on completion of the
Mhm.
task.
Absolutely.
So, but the problem with attorneys is they get you because they're just like, pay me a retainer, and I'll let you know how much time I've worked.
Contractors will do it too.
Do you know what I'm saying?
The contractors
Yeah,
will do
but
it too.
but if I say, okay, look, if you're a contractor and you're doing my tile, and I say, I'm gonna give you $100 for materials,
Right.
and then when you're completed, I'm gonna give you another $100. I've literally set. Do you know what I'm saying?
Pay.
Attorneys won't do that. Attorneys will be like, yeah, it took me an hour to make that phone call, when it took them 20 minutes.
I agree. But that's the practice. It's a horrible practice.
I know.
But
There's no recourse. There's no. It's just.
and it's, the bar don't want to hear it.
And here's the other thing. You can't, like, it's almost like if you're an attorney and I'm an attorney,
They just run through you, man.
huh?
They just run through you.
They pick up the phone and call each other, and they're like, "But that took me 20 minutes," and they're like, "The call took an hour." You know what I mean? Or
Because guess what? They
they'll
round
do
out-
things.
That's what they do.
They'll do things to go back and forth and back
They
and forth.
round out the common denominator. because they won't bill you for a half hour. They bill you by the hour. So if they're talking about for 10 minutes, they bill you for an
I
hour.
know. And it's they'll go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
But you know what you do?
Waste time.
Listen, when you go to the consultation, because you're paying for it anyway.
Yeah.
Some don't charge, but I'm just saying when you do the consultation, say, listen, give me a relative amount of time.
Yeah.
You got this. You in control
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're the one paying.
Yeah.
Say how quick can we get this done?
Yeah.
That's what you got to be.
Yeah.
The questions you asking me is what you need to be asking them. Say, look, how soon can we get it done? Because I wanna stay within my budget.
Yeah. What's the
Now you being smart.
budget?
What's the plan for moving forward? I do have a budget of what I can afford to pay.
Let me see.
Follow me?
All right, so when you guys get that arrow attached to the locator, grab the locator and rotate the arrow in place where you're happy with its location. I would just do like literally 90 degrees in Y. I'm sorry, negative 90 in Y. Fuck. Negative 90 in Y, and then
So you make it so when they use it, they go right to the point
and
of
Y and Z is 0, 0 in translate, and then another. Just look at my coordinates up here. Match my coordinates up here, you guys. I get it. I got it.
so you create this to every time they pull out the arrow, it goes right to that point.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So that way,
That's crazy.
when the animators animate, what ends up happening is,
The programmer does that part
Yeah.
that makes it do it.
Right.
You make the part of what it should do.
right,
The point of
and it'll
entry.
always go back to that same point,
Point.
and so he'll always know.
Bam. Right.
Yeah.
I got a friend of mine. He wants to.
This is high tech shit, by the way.
fucking right, man.
Real high tech.
I got a guy that wants to possibly go to school up under here.
Cool.
So, Tuesday,
Okay.
I'm gonna introduce you to him.
Great.
He says I said, you're gonna have to learn some math and physics.
Programmer.
Yeah.
Cool.
I said, dude, I said, it's not easy if you ain't been to school. You know, because like,
Just match my coordinates. Select the locator. You see my coordinates up here? Match them.
you know, because people like, they see me do shit like, the students that we work with, they didn't respect me. You know that, right?
Huh.
That's it. You know, your class didn't respect me before.
Mhm.
But I understood why.
You can get them some shirts. They'll respect
No.
you.
Because they had to understand I was doing the art and I can give them direction about what the hell I wanted.
Right.
Then they really understood, say, hey, man, this dude is doing the artwork versus somebody doing shit for me, Chris. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's hard for people who create to respect somebody who don't.
Yeah.
Like, I can't give you direction. You're like, motherfucker, you ain't even doing artwork. You don't get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
But once people see that you're involved and you know exactly what you want, they
Yeah.
earn, you know, respect is to be earned.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So I kind of want to earn their respect and tell them, look, hey, I don't want that. You need to do this.
Move the arrow.
Select the locator should move the arrow now, and then see the coordinates up here in the upper right. Just move the locator, matching these coordinates.
I can't see it.
You can't see that?
Your locator's too small,
His
which is
glasses.
fine.
No, I can't see the coordinates.
Oh, all right. I'll name them to you. So go to your coordinates. So you have the locator selected, right? You got them selected?
Yes.
All right. Translate X is 90. Translate Y is 0. Translate Z is 0. Rotate X is 0. Rotate Y is negative 90. And rotate Z is 0. So basically everything's 0 except for translate X and rotate Y. Translate X is 90. Rotate Y is negative 90.
Okay, thank you.
Got that? Arrow should pop right in the center of the quiver.
Okay.
Everybody with me? Corey!
Corey, stop playing, man.
Somebody help Corey.
He needs to rotate the arrow. Hold on.
Help Corey. Dang, Corey. He's a little slow, but he gets there.
Right. But you know, like I said, it takes time, you know, Chris, to build a team of people, you know, that can trust that you have the ability to develop something great as well. And it takes time, you know, to build relationships. Even you and I like to build with you on a regular basis
Sure.
for working long term.
Sure.
You know, that's why I come in, hey man, let me holler at Chris just to let him know I'm real with it, not just playing games. You feel me? I'm
Sure.
serious. And building relationships is very important. See, I corrected Jessica the other day. Watch this. Also gave her a pillow, so that was in mine. You feel me? People don't like to be corrected unless you helping out with the situation.
Yeah,
you feel me?
yeah.
So she didn't even understand my goal. You feel me? I said, look at the cuff links. I want this to be like this. You got the cuff straight, but can you do this? Oh, sure. I said, in fact, I brought you this pillow. This is yours. I know you like it. I said, I did it myself. So please appreciate it. But you see how I did that with her. When you're managing people and you're in a position of leadership, you have to show people you appreciate them.
Of course.
And I mean, that's the key. You know what I mean? The goddamn shirt's gonna be so bad, they're not even gonna understand it.
That's
I get
gonna
the
really
artwork.
up morale.
When you see this shit, you're gonna be like, man, god damn it. Hey, some motherfuckers say, I ain't never wearing this motherfucker. I threw it out. I put that shit together. It's bad. It's bad to the bone. And they're the only ones gonna have them.
So this is my rig. So your project is very heavily character based.
Absolutely.
So what's cool is this class is our rigging class. So in this class, we actually, they need to learn this stuff anyways.
Damn, that's bad.
So I have them doing the stuff for this, or stuff for Dragon in here.
Right. I gotta get a picture of that shit. That shit's sick.
He's about to put an arrow up your ass.
Man, I'll be sending stuff to Lewis.
Oh, cool.
He just freaks out.
So this guy's pretty cool. I'll show you. You get Corey right? All right. Just got to get this done, man. So now these guys come at you. This dude will come at me. See him?
Right, wow. So it's automatic in the program.
Yeah, so watch his eyes. See his eyes?
Oh, you're blinking?
So he's blinking now.
They shouldn't blink. They're robots.
Oh, well, I think it's cool, actually. It kind of looks cool.
But that's cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's hit reactions in it, too.
Oh, wow.
He's caught up.
Okay.
Climbing. Oh, man. That's freaking sick.
That's pretty cool. All right. Cool. So arrow should be in the quiver, right? Right in the center. That's where we want it. Okay. So what I want you to do is on frame, make sure it's on frame 0. I want you to set a key. Set a key on that locator. So hit S. Okay. Set a key on the locator and hit S. S will set a key on the timeline. Yeah, on frame 0. Select the locator, hit S. Got it? All right. So now let's open up our reference editor. Go to File Reference Editor. And I want you to uncheck the bow. So File Reference Editor, uncheck the bow. So all we have in here is just the quiver and the arrows. Then we're going to save this scene as quiver.ma. Then open up bow baddie. Bow baddie idle, sorry. And then with bow baddie, now the locator should be in there now. Now in bow baddie idle, you're going to select the arrow or you're going to select the locator, then the arrow, and do a constrain parent without offset. And it should, guess what? Do exactly what we want it to do. So again, in Bo Batty here, idle, select the locator, then shift select the arrow. So select the locator, then shift select the arrow bone, then parent constraint without offset. And the arrow should pop right in the thingy. Alright, so again, I'll go over this one more time. Select the locator, open up Bo Batty idle, select the locator, you can just drag it, select it in the scene, shift select the bow arrow bone, then go to parent constraint, turn off maintain offset, and hit apply.
You references in first, correct?
What?
You reference in first, correct?
I can't hear you.
You need to reference it in, correct?
No. Everything should pop in.
So you select the locator first?
Select the locator first, shift select the bow arrow, then open up parent constraint options, turn off maintain offset, and hit apply. Who got it? Anybody? Jason, you get it? Nice. This is my girl. Puerto Rican.
No,
She bad.
Yeah.
She bad.
Real bad.
You been eating that mother, haven't you?
We just started dating.
Okay. It ain't gonna take long. She want what you want. You want what she want. And that's all that matters. She bad.
I got some game just like you, man.
Oh yeah.
Last
What you
Saturday,
know?
we went to a Latin club last Saturday in Deep Ellum.
Mm.
And, man, I told my friend yesterday, he's like, what did you do last weekend? I said, man, I was in a Latin club in Deep Ellum dancing with this Puerto Rican chick. He was like, you know, most people, if they live like you, most people will never experience anything in their lifetime.
You're right. But you know, listen, man, let me tell you something. I just don't like, I don't want to catch AIDS. I'm married. I'm chilling. Getting women is the easy thing for me. Like, I'm used to having nice women. I don't date black women, period. All the women I date are Italian.
Yeah.
Like, they love me. And I can get any woman I want. I just don't choose to do it. You know what I mean? I'm great with women. I got time for that shit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just want to stay focused.
We got other things going on. Yeah.
I enjoy art, animation. I enjoy this. And I choose that over destroying myself and my family and my relationship over nothing.
Yeah, it's good.
You know, that's just how I am, man. Like, some women might think, oh, he like me. Really, I don't like you like that. You feel me? Like, I treat Jessica nice. Jessica put this, you feel me? But some women may take it, or some people may take it a certain way. Hey, it's fine.
Yeah.
You take it how you want to take it, but I can believe you ain't shit happening.
Yeah.
I want that money.
Yeah, smart.
Now, I'm 52 years old, man. I ain't got time for games.
That's smart.
You still young. How old are you?
38.
Okay. So I have a 33-year-old daughter. I'm over it.
That's good.
I'm just over women. Listen, man. Young women want a baby. Older women want money. I'm not giving either of them up.
Yeah. Smart. All right, everybody with me?
No, sir.
Uh,
I mean, I'm with you, but I'm not.
you got him, Jason?
No.
Daniel, did you get this?
Hang on 1 second.
Who's got it? Anybody?
I'm checking.
All right, can Daniel? It don't even look like. Did Daniel even get it? Yeah, he looks like he got it. I think. Yeah. Hey, zoom out on his. Yeah, he's good.
You should have updated it automatically, right?
Updated. What is that supposed to mean?
When you
He's got-
open the bow item,
Uh huh.
my
You should-
locator was not on the arrow.
It's
Did you?
just like the old bow before we like messed with it. Before we did this.
I feel that my locator.
Oh, the locator should be on the quiver though. You did it in the quiver file. You did all that, right? Did you
Yeah.
save the quiver file?
Yes, sir.
Corey, I got you.
Hey, yours is showing up, right, Jason? All right, I got you guys. Hang on a second.
Yeah, mine's showing up. That's yours is showing up. Yours is showing up, right?
Like quiver?
Yeah, is yours right or?
No, the quiver of arrows don't show up, but it does in Unreal, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
No. I'm asking like, is the
I,
quiver?
Daniel,
the-
I got it, brother. Corey and Jason, update that folder, the one that has quiver, the quiver, the rig folder. Update that, and then reopen your baddie idle, and it should the arrow should pop in there.
Yeah, man, I want these the same
What's up? What's up?
alien computers.
Yeah.
I want the same thing, same setup. I'm doing it just like y'all doing it. I
Cool.
don't want to change much. You know, I can just do a whole layout and just go to work. So you know, it'd be good to show Lewis exactly what we're going to be doing. You follow me? This is the model of what we're going to be, what's going to be happening.
Sure.
So
As long as we get Dan, man. I can't.
yeah,
I
Dan
can't
cool.
can't do it without Dan.
yeah, they ain't gonna be. He good. He good. Man, he's gonna be good.
Dan is.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, not just Dan. I want Jessica creating them goddamn characters. I'm just saying.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm
She'll
saying.
do it. She's gonna be in Brazil, but she can work remote. That's no problem. And she can do it fast.
She's gonna be here.
She knows the process.
I wanna be able to fix it where she's here and she can fly out after she's completing stuff, fly back to her people, and I'll fly her back ass back in. I'm just keeping it real. You know, I want her own location.
Revert it. Yeah. Right click on that file, revert it, and then do an update.
I want her ass on location. You feel me?
Yeah. You guys that it's working for, don't worry about it. Y'all are good. Y'all are good. If it's working, you got a locator in there, you're good to go. Huh? Okay.
Boots on the ground. You hear me?
Boots on the ground.
I want
I
boots
love
on the
boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's so valuable to have everyone in one space because you can literally walk over to them and
Well, they're used to you. I don't want to break none of that. They're used to you. They're used to Dan. See, Jessica's not operating unless she's up under you. She don't give a shit about Dan or nobody else. I'm just telling you. Listen to me. Even though Jessica may respect me, her relationship is with you.
Right,
Working with you.
right.
And, I mean, look, you don't break with what's
yeah.
It's there. I don't want to change that. Anybody who come from here who works with me have to be up under your direction, and they gonna respect that because they know you ain't no punk. You follow me? They've been under Dan, so they know Dan know his shit. You feel me? And he gonna lead them in the right direction. You follow me?
Yes.
Then what I would do with y'all is I will put shit in y'all hands to give to them. You follow me?
Yes.
Because you're managing them. I'm not. You follow what I'm
Right.
saying? And that's how you build ultimate respect in a team effort. You feel me?
Yes. Daniel. Daniel.
Yes.
Is Corey and Jason, they got it yet or what?
No, yeah, we here.
All right. You got your file open? Everything in there?
Yes, sir.
Good to go. All right. Select the locator. Shift select the. Open up your hypergraph hierarchy like I have open right now. Window, general editor's hypergraph hierarchy.
Corey, I believe in you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And then you're going to select the locator, shift select the bow arrow, then do parent constrain with maintain offset off.
Hey, so one problem when I go to the hypergraph hierarchy with the locator,
Yep.
it's empty.
Inside there, hit F. Select something and hit F.
Okay, there we go.
See what I just told Corey? I believe in you.
Yeah.
That changes his whole perspective.
Then we did the locator to the bow, right?
Select the locator, shift select the bow. I'm sorry, the arrow bone. Then do a parent constraint with maintain offset off. We need to refine this process, you guys.
Yeah, you might have to run that on
Daniel, go help him.
Hold on.
I ain't saying it again. I'm over it.
Quickly, it doesn't take long, does it? My uncle's a pastor, man. I tell you.
Parent constraint to which thing?
Shift select, select the locator, shift select the arrow bone, then parent constraint with maintain offset off.
Yeah, your boy better copyright that stuff like I told him.
Yeah, I need to do that.
He better do that. Hey, listen. I do your copyright paperwork for you. You don't have to pay me to do nothing. I take care of you.
I need that help.
So for your
Love my
education,
website, yeah.
for your educational gain. Okay.
It's an educational website.
Okay, so Tuesday I'll come in and I'll bring you a non-disclosure, Christopher Curl. Because anybody who views your stuff needs to be under non-disclosure.
Sure.
I'll email it to you, and you email it to anybody who wants to see what you do before you allow them to see it. Follow me?
Cool.
So I'll do that, and then also.
It's a mutual non-disclosure?
Absolutely, yeah. Everyone, it's customary. And then what I will do also is Tuesday when I come up, I'll bring you your paper for your copyrights. Now, if you do it online, it's $35. If you send it by mail, just put the game on the disc, put it in the casing, put you a bubble wrap, send it to the copyrights office. That's $55.
Okay.
Because I'm telling you, they won't have a space online for you to do it, and you're gonna be so frustrated. You're gonna be like, "Hey man, I'm done. I'm over." So you send in the money order. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
To them, I'll show you all the address to do. In fact, I'll do a yellow envelope addressing it. All you have to do is do the fill out, put the disc in there, and you're gone. I'm good, dude. I know my shit.
Yeah, I need to cover that. I need to get the LLC too. That's a
the
big
L-
deal.
yeah, do you? Well, it all depends. Once you got ownership, Chris, you can license it. So you will not need an LLC. Only if you want to be a company.
We do want to be a company.
Okay, if you want to be a company, that's fine. If you just want
And
to
we
be,
want the company name too.
Okay,
We want
okay.
the LLC name.
Awesome. But what are you doing with the company? Are you licensing? Because if you're licensing, you don't need
We're
company,
not,
nothing.
We're not licensing.
Okay,
We're gonna actually run this as a company.
okay. So you got the cloud and everything, the operating system.
Got it all, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you understand what I'm saying. If you got all your operating system and you just want to do downloads and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's a whole different thing. I agree.
We're selling subscriptions online.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But you just got to own it first.
Right.
Now, the name, do you have the name patent? I mean, trademark? Okay.
I need to do that too.
A trademark name, that's $350. That's, yeah, that's $350. And you have a maintenance fee after 3 years.
How much?
I don't know. It just
Won't
depends.
matter.
Yeah, you know, just like McDonald's.
Can I self-trademark or self-copyright?
Dude, it ain't nothing self.
Right.
It doesn't exist. Everything you do is through your federal government.
Yeah.
Because you can't own nothing. Because then, if you pre-publish, Chris, you fuck yourself. Don't ever pre-publish.
What's pre-publish?
Pre-publishing means you put it out there and then you get
Oh,
rights
yeah.
later. And it costs you more. It costs more to do a copyright if you pre-publish. That's why you don't want to pre-publish.
Right.
Like your boy, he pre-published. It's a mistake.
Yeah. Let me go check on these things. Okay, guys, we've got to get through this. All right, so once the arrow's in there, okay, so all we're trying to do here is we can't export since the arrow, the bow, and the character are separately in Unreal. We have to export the character's animations separately and the bow's animations separately. Okay, so what we need to do now is let me see if this will actually work. All right, so I want you to go click on the bow. Click on the bow bone, or the bow arrow bone. See where my mouse is? Click on this bone right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to bake that animation. So go Edit, Keys, Edit Keys, Bake Simulation. Edit Keys, Bake Simulation. And what that has done is that is basically baked in the keys for this animation for the location and rotation of this arrow, not based off of world space. You guys understand what the heck I'm talking about? You get like 5 cookies. Now let's go to Reference Editor, File Reference Editor, and I want you to unload the quiver, unload the baddie. So unload the baddie and unload the quiver. Unload the baddie and unload the quiver. Now what we're going to do is open up in your hypergraph hierarchy. I want you to select the bow root and unparent it, so hit Shift P. Then in its translate X, Y, and Z, set those all to 0. That's interesting.
Man, that's crazy, man.
What?
How it just remotely does this.
Man,
Who did that mesh?
I got it online.
Okay.
This is the problem. Okay. All right, so we need to rotate the bow back into place for when we exported it. So select bow root, and I need you to put in these coordinates up here, which is -44.381, -6. These are for rotate. So -44.381 in rotate X. Rotate Y is -6.063. And rotate Z is 55.623. And you guys can see the coordinates up here. And your bow should basically pop back to 0 here, and the arrow is going to be doing its thing.
55 point.
I'll read the coordinates. So starting, rotate X, Y, and Z. I'm going to read them in order, okay? -44.381, -6.063, 55.623. Okay. All right, everybody good? Everybody got their bow looking like this? Corey, Jason?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jason? You know what you can do? Select everything in there and just hit delete. You can delete everything, and the red. This is what it should look like. This is all that should be in there. The red stuff won't delete. I don't know why this is. Does that make sense?
Red stuff won't delete.
The red stuff won't delete, so you can just drag everything and delete it. Does that help, Jason? All right, cool. All right, so now we need to export this animation, okay? So Actually, what we're doing, we're not going to go to File, Reference Editor. All right. Now, the bow's referenced into the scene. We can't edit any names unless the bow is imported into the scene. So right-click bow rn, bow.ma, reference, import objects from reference. And when you do that, in the hypergraph hierarchy, they will now not be read anymore. Okay.
Mine is grayed out. When I go to graphics on it.
Which,
Just highlight it.
highlight it. Select it, then right-click on it. Import objects from reference.
No, he means like the word, like click on word. Actually, click on it. Then
Somebody help him.
There you go.
All right. Now select all the objects in the scene. Go to Modify, Prefix Hierarchy Names, and hit OK. And it'll delete the hierarchy names. So again, select all the objects, modify prefix hierarchy names. Just do it one time so it doesn't add those extra prefixes like it did last time. All right, so then when you select objects in here, they should just say like root, draw, arrow, etc. with no prefix. Got it? Anybody not with me?
So you hit Control Plus to make your screen bigger.
Control plus?
Control Plus. You can't do that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Control or Windows?
Control Plus.
Oh, yeah, Windows plus.
You need to tell your man that right there, because he can't hardly see. You know what I'm saying?
Good point. That's actually kind of cool.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. That's badass. All right, guys. We need to export this animation now, okay? Go to File, Export All. Export this to the desktop, and we're going to call this bow idle. You can just export it over that bow idle. That's on your desktop. Okay. Then inside Unreal, go into characters, weapons, bow.
When I exported, I got a warning, error, warning.
That's fine. Don't worry about those warnings. When you're in Unreal, go to characters, weapons, bow. Inside that folder, click Import, then import that file. And on this one, we're going to put this one on the skeleton for the bow. And it's called, should be called bow. It says quiver skeleton for some reason, and I don't know why. We can try that. Yep, that worked. So change it to quiver skeleton. Something's goofy here. I don't know. And it should import the bow idle.
Working it out, man. We're getting close.
See, I'm talking to Dan right now.
Okay. Communicating
Yeah,
on Discord.
absolutely. That is animation.
Man, I learn fast, man. You hear me?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just a fast learner. That's why people be like, how the fuck you know? Hey, man, I'm a fast learner. I sit up and just, hey.
Did you guys export that? Import that?
Yes.
So, in Unreal, we should have, if you double click on the bow, what are you seeing? You see a bow and an arrow off in space,
Yeah.
and when you hit play, that arrow's doing its idle.
Yes.
So what's going to happen is you have the character playing his bow idle, then we attach the bow to it, the character, then we have the bow playing its bow idle, and then in the game we're going to run the character's bow idle and the bow idle at the same time, and the animations will both play at the same time. Does that make sense? So this is how we keep weapons separate as attachments, but yet have them play animations that match. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a little weird, but I mean, this is how it's done, unfortunately. So right now, I'm communicating with Dan, who's our project lead right now. He's hooking that up in code so we can test that. And I'm just going to go through here. So I'll look at that real quick. So let's see, bow idle. Let's take a look. Looks great. Where's my animation at? Yep, there it is, playing its little idle. And I'm going to go ahead and commit my Maya files to the project now. So art repo, characters, baddies animation. So I didn't really have to do anything with that. So we're just going to wait on him to hook that up. And while he does, I'm going to go ahead and just attach this arrow again. That way it plays. Save. And I'll commit this. You guys aren't going to be committing to the project here. Just pretend like you're doing what I'm doing. So for every single animation for the bow guy, we're going to have to attach that arrow to that locator. I mean, so, yeah. So for his runs, for his walks, the arrow all has to be attached. And then for the shooting animations, he'll reach back and he'll grab that arrow, he'll pull it out, he'll draw it, then he'll let go, and then the arrow will disappear right as it's fired, basically, and then projectile will spawn in. Make sense? This is like... Hopefully you guys learned something today. Say again? Yeah, so this is what he'll do. He'll be standing there in his bow idle. The arrow will be in his quiver. he will reach back, grab it, and then animate the arrow pulling out. He'll pull it in and he'll shoot it. And the arrow will literally move to here, then vanish. Then in game, the projectile arrow will spawn in that location, and then programmatic projectile arrow will go. And then he will reach back, grab another arrow.
He's always
And
grabbing.
the animation just loops. He's always grabbing the same arrow over and again. But in the game, it looks like he's got tons of arrows and he's just grabbing, right? It's complex, but this is how it's done. So I'm just getting Dan to set this up right now. In a second he sets it up, we'll all do an update, and we'll watch this guy shoot at us. Hopefully. So you guys can close out of Unreal. So close out of Unreal. Quiver skeleton.
What about Maya?
Huh?
Close Maya or?
Yeah, close Maya, close Unreal. And what I want you to do is go to Project Dragon. Right click on Project Dragon, do a Tortoise SVN revert. Make sure everything's checked, hit OK. And then do a Project Dragon update.
What was that other program we used? Or the checkout, the pushing and pulling?
Man, that was source tree. Man, I just cannot stand that program. It's quite awful. SVN's so much easier, so much better. I mean, I've used Tortoise SVN forever. I've shipped multiple projects that are still for sale right now with that program. You know, we're always trying new software. We're always trying to update, keep advanced. You know, SourceTree was new. It looked cool. We tried it. Guess what? It ain't always going to work. So, you know what? We went back to Old Faithful. Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we're just waiting on Dan to hook this up. He should have it hooked up in minutes. And then we'll do an update. We'll test it out. And then you guys are free to go. What's up, Roger? You know, it's hanging a little low and to the left. But, you know, we're trying to get it over to the right a little bit. So.
Hey. Dude, your game looks good.
Hmm?
Your game looks good.
Thanks.
What game?
Have you seen?
Yeah,
Oh,
watch the
oh,
video.
right. Didn't I show you before?
Well, I saw it on the Discord. A little clip of it, the top down.
Are you talking about Solar Purge or?
Yes, Solar
Oh,
Purge.
okay. I thought you were talking about the game that we're working on in Project Dev. But yeah, that's coming along well. Today is the day that my students are to turn in their prototype for the project we've been
Is
working
that
on.
right?
Yep.
Man.
I can say this stuff.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Success?
Yep. I'm giving them roughly an hour of class time
To make some
once we
tweaks?
start, to make some tweaks, get the final stuff in. I'm gonna go in there myself. I gotta finish doing the enemy. I gotta put his attack in.
and then
Love
we
it.
pretty much have a functional game.
Love it. Was it like smashing a square peg through a round hole to get them to get their shit done?
Almost. The only saving grace is that the square peg wasn't that much bigger than the round hole.
Nice.
So
Nice.
so we got it working.
Just took a mallet to it.
Yeah, took a mallet.
Sounds like it was more like trying to squeeze a Mickey Mouse shape through a round hole.
Yeah. It was definitely they have learned a lot, and they have come to understand the perils.
You know, as long as they can get, here's the problem, as long as they can get a taste of what project dev is supposed to be, even just a taste, it's their first one, you know what I'm saying?
It's their first one, and then like they haven't went through the curriculum like other college
Right.
students have, so they haven't hit intro.
So when they get to project 2, at least they have a taste. So they're, you know, so they'll be like, okay, at least I kind of understand what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah.
So they show up to they don't show up to project 2 and they're like, it hits them so hard, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, project.
This is the time for them to come to an understanding of what's going on and to make the mistakes now, so they learn from them and don't make them later.
How's Matt's project coming?
His has come along well as well. I think so. His prototype is also due today. We pretty much have a similar structure for how we're assigning them milestones and stuff. I think the only thing he has to work on is also dealing with the enemy's movement, and so his should be up and running. He has a menu system, settings and stuff. It's looking good as well.
Nice.
We sort of took different approach with our classes. His is they're making a lot of the assets themselves since it's not that taxing. It's literally like, have you ever played Galaga?
Yes.
It's pretty much Galaga. You know, you got a ship that moves around. You got other ships that fly around and shoot at you. You shoot the ships.
Yeah.
They die. You get points.
Yeah.
You know, it's very simple, but they're making a lot of stuff from scratch. So it's been a learning experience for them. In my class, we're using some of the Paragon assets, some of the Finny Blade, you know, stuff like that. A lot of those, you know, pre-made assets, but the programmers have had to do stuff and things like that. But yeah,
Nice.
it's good.
Nice. Oh man, this has been a cool class because we're working on
What class is this?
This is rigging, but we're starting since we're working on the Dragon project with the ninjas and stuff. We're doing a lot of like, it's very heavily character based, and so we're doing a lot of rigging stuff for that in here, which, you know, it's like real time, you know, on the job kind of training kind of thing, which is really cool.
Okay. Sick. You only teach it on Fridays?
Yeah, just rigging in here on Fridays.
Okay.
Have you had a chance to look at those videos?
I have not. I've been swamped
That's
with
fine.
class.
You got,
I still have my mind.
you'll have time between over winter break. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You'll only have to do it one time, and then Matt's gonna take over, and then it'll be, you guys are same schedule, same everything. Matt will just, so spring y'all will both do rigging, and then come fall, you'll get back over to project, and then Matt will do, he'll stick with rigging.
Okay.
Because they want me to do one rigging and one project with you guys, spring and fall.
Yeah, and now that I've gotten a little bit of understanding of how to handle a project dev class, it'll be even smoother next time. And I really haven't had any rough times with this class, surprisingly.
Are they,
you know?
do they ever, you know, because you're obviously young. How old are you?
23.
Do you ever have any issues where they kind of maybe look at you a little bit like, because you're so close in age?
I think initially that happened maybe on the first week, because, you know, especially the first day, they're like, "Where's the teacher?"
Roderick?
And so I think on the first week that happen, but I've done two things to make sure that that doesn't happen. One is I make it very clear to them that I am the professor of the class, and that
Professor Roger.
Their attitude towards the class, how they act during class,
Matters.
just general things.
Great.
That matters, and that's impactful, and I expect some level of respect, and I'll give it to them as well. But another thing that I do, I'm not a hard ass on them. When we're discussing things about the project, I'll make little jokes here and there, just to have them be comfortable enough to at least, discuss with me about what we're going to be doing in the class, because I don't want to look like this big bad guy.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't give them that excuse to like, oh well, since he's a cool guy, he'll give us cool grades. Well, I'm a cool guy that expect you to put some effort in the class, and then
Expects results.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool. Let's don't get it twisted. I'm cool. I'm real cool. But I expect results.
I expect results.
There you go. That's how you gotta play it, man.
I had a teacher back in high school, Mr. Pittman. He taught a computer tech class, and he is one of the administrators for the district when it comes to like the infrastructures for computers and stuff like that. And he was teaching a class at my high school. And so the way he handled the class was that, he was very hands-on. He didn't mind helping you. As a matter of fact, he preferred that. He didn't like textbooks. And the only thing he asked is that you respect him as an adult and as a teacher, and that, you come to class and be ready to work.
Nice.
And from that point on, it's like, well, that's how it goes. And that's essentially how I'm handling the class.
Well, Roderick, you're doing a good job, man. We're real proud of you here. We've groomed you, sir, into quite the instructor. And I don't know if you remember this, but those little times I had you come in my classes and do little demos here and there.
Mm-hmm.
It was all part of the plan, man.
All part of the plan.
You thought I was playing. Thought that was just that wasn't anything? No, man. It was all part of the bigger plan, man.
He's like, I know what I'm gonna do.
There's a master plan here, and you may not realize it at
Let's
the
see,
time.
you made me project lead of intro class. You had me, like you said, come in a couple times to talk to your previous intro classes and stuff.
Project lead of Foul Magic team.
As a matter of fact, I can't remember his name. Student up there. I went into. I think you were teaching his class too.
Roderick and Jason, yeah. You were helping them.
Mm-hmm.
Their project.
Yeah. Because I don't mind helping out with that stuff. I am all for sharing that knowledge.
So, yeah, all part of the plan, and now you're here, which is great. We retain the talent here, which is amazing. But there's, so we just, our programming faculty, did Josh tell you about that we hired a new programmer guy?
I heard you guys discussing it.
Yeah.
I didn't know any details.
So he had an interview yesterday with the big bosses, and then they just got to approve it, and we'll have a programmer here now. So it'll be me, Josh, and a programmer. It's really cool. And he's cool. He's real cool. He fits in. Like, everybody gets along with students. Like, real cool guy. Young guy, fresh mind, not old and ill, All right.
Great. We finally have a program.
All right, so let's try this out. Go ahead and do an update on Project Dragon. He done half of it. So he said he hooked up the bow to the character, so we can see that in game. So just do an update on Project Dragon, launch Project Dragon, go into Maps, Test Map 1, and we need to edit the level blueprint and select the bow baddie if you hit play and he's not in there already. So go to maps. After you update, go to maps, Dan test map 1. And I'll hit play here, and yep. So actually you just need to hit play and you can actually play as him, which is cool. This would be the Black Ninja, and what's awesome is I set up his sash. If you guys notice, I set up his sash to be dynamic.
What the cloth is?
Yeah, so you see his cloth. Yeah, that was actually quite simple. Goes through his leg, but we'll find a way to.
There's a way to fix that. Well, what you can do, there's an easy way to do it. Is you take like a small capsule and put it, attach it to a socket on his leg, and the cloth will respect that capsule, and so it'll actually sit on the side.
So it's actually not cloth. It's a what I call a trail controller.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Check out his eyes.
I see him.
He look bad.
Actually, would be a pretty cool like roguelike ninja game. Make like dark scenes and stuff. That way he blends in with the environment. Yeah, keep his eyes going so that way you know where he is. Is
Actually,
Dan also taking this class, or was he just helping you out with that level?
It just helping out. Does the bow have an A and a BP? No. It's an idle save.
All right, Josh, I'm gonna go ahead and get the room open and prep for class.
Cool. I actually like the way that this guy looks with that arrow sticking out like that. He looks kind of. I'm wondering. I'm actually wondering if when we remove the. When you put the arrow, once he puts the arrow in the quiver, it's going to make him not look as menacing. But we'll see here in a second. So, open up Dan test map 1.
Do I hear correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh. And then hit play, Jason.
He's on the ground. You should switch.
Each spot.
It's one night in that bow and
So if you watch him for one,
we got like 2 more minutes before the class is over.
So I'm hoping.
Well, them coins looked real good, didn't they? The pickups.
Yes, sir. For skeleton wishes, I just use bow, not bow.
So did he shoot the bow at somebody yet?
Hang on a second. Yes.
We about done here?
Just waiting on him to hook that up. You need to go?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can go.
Alright, sorry about that.
You're good.
Maybe he's like swinging the wrong way. Maybe more swinging low. Probably whack himself in the head with it or something. Whack. You lost half your health. Whack. See you guys later.
Fighting.
Alright, see you guys later.
See ya.